Agenda item number 3, visitors and citizens forum. Do we have anybody sign up for that?
No, sir.
No, sir? Okay, we don't have anyone.
Did I sign up on the wrong one?
Did you sign up for an agenda item or for the visitor and citizens forum? There's 2 lists. One would be for agenda items.
This is regular.
Which one?
You want to sign it?
The other one?
There you go.
We're just
Thanks a lot, Josh.
All right, we got a late sign up for the visitor citizens forum. Nancy, if you don't mind, if you could keep it to 3 minutes,
Oh, we're in the wrong page.
give or take.
I have time. Something just read it. Sorry, I signed up on the wrong paper over there.
Well, don't let it happen. Go right ahead.
Okay, I'm Nancy Sawdoff, Chair of the Devine Historical Committee of the Devine Chamber of Commerce and a member of the Medina County Historical Commission. I have three things to tell you about tonight. The County Historical Commission is undertaking a project to document the pioneer residences and structures of Medina County prior to 1890. Since Devine did not begin until 1881, we are not sure if there are any remains of buildings prior to that within the city, but we are researching. If any of you have or know of any houses or structures like barns, sheds from prior to 1890, and they may be only ruins or rubbles at this site, please contact me through our Devine Historical Committee Facebook page or call me. And the city office is welcome to give out my number if anybody happens to call them. The second thing is coming up in 2026, only 3 short years away, is the 150th anniversary of the United States of America. Communities all over the nation are already making plans for celebrations for this special event. Many are in conjunction with America 250, a nationwide program of communities committed to planning and putting into action special events for this semi-quincentennial. In 1976, Devine had special events and activities in the community and school for the nation's bicentennial, and I hope the City Council will be open to setting up a committee of citizens from community organizations, Devine ISD, businesses, churches, and interested individuals to put together a plan for a great celebration. This committee can be chaired by our city community leaders interested in being part of the celebration of our country. And the last one is coming in 2031 is the 150th anniversary of the founding of Devine. Although the Devine Historical Committee has already started putting on together the history of Devine, I hope the city will establish a committee soon to put together a special celebration for this important event in our town. Planning these special events takes a lot of time and commitment, and the sooner we start, the better. And the first step is setting up committees. I personally will be willing to serve on both committees under the leadership of the city leaders. I hope to see these topics of setting up committees on future agendas soon, and I'm willing to help as needed. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Nancy. Those are all good points. Thank you very much. Okay, that was it for Citizens Forum. Agenda item number 4, public recognition. Do we have anything?
Yes.
Just employee, right? Okay.
Hang on. I want to make sure everyone else got a chance.
Okay. All right, Josh.
It's a bit of a long one. It was a long holiday break, so wanted to capture everybody. Wanted to say thanks to Dustin Navarro and STX Electric and Pete and crew for fixing the water tower on Christmas Day. Thanks to Devine PD for all the overtime and no use of force at all last year. That's incredible. It's also a testament to the community policing they do, building relationships, and caring for the community. I'd further like to thank Mayor Butch Cook for allowing council to see resumes and hire a city administrator after multiple years without. During this recent freeze, our illustrious city's administrator really showed his dedication by setting up his command center here in the city and not leaving during the duration of the event here of this last freeze, getting us all the food and generators and whatnot here just in case emergencies happened. Left his family by themselves so he could show the real dedication to this city. Our public works crew was out all hours during the freezing cold while we were all bundled up at home, staying warm. And I just want to show my gratitude to all the folks working for this city. You really can't do better than that kind of dedication, foresight, planning, and the sacrifice those folks are making at all hours of the night to make sure that everything operates well.
All right, Josh, thank you. Anything else in public recognition? Okay. Agenda item number 5, employee recognition. Josh, you got a little bit on there. That was great. Stole some of my thunder, but that's fine. Okay. David, I think you have someone you want to recognize.
Yes, I have police officer Ms. Felisa Miller. She's not able to make it this evening, but they got a call of an individual that was missing, been missing for about 72 hours when they got the call. She started her search about 1 o'clock in the morning and just so happened to find a gentleman in the silo over here across the street. He was in a wheelchair and he took the wrong turn. Tried to get out of his wheelchair and walk and fell initially about 5 feet, and then he walked a little bit further and he fell 15 feet down a shaft. It was very cold at night, but this police officer went in the trenches and in the bushes and found this gentleman. It's a miracle that she found him with her alley lights. She saw his wheelchair empty and then she went searching for him. She found a gentleman, called the EMS, the fire department, our local fire department, and 2 or 3 other agencies extricated the gentleman out of the shaft and took him to the hospital, and he's alive today. So I just want to thank Corporal Miller for her dedication and her vigilance in doing that job. Some people say, police officers, well, that's just your job, but that's not, that's over and above what a normal officer would do. For her to go out, she was diligent until she found that gentleman. I'm sure he and his family is very thankful, as are we. And just to piggyback on what Councilor Ritchie said about the winter storm, our public works personnel and staff was out there checking the sewer plants and responding to all emergencies, water leaks, or whatever need to be done over the last 72, 96 hours. And I appreciate them for that, coming in on the weekends, making sure we have generator power. Also like to thank our community partners, the Fire Department, Devine Fire Department, as well as the South Texas Fellowship of Ministries, and the mayor and police chief and fire chief. We all had a meeting, for a planning meeting for the storm. We was also in touch with Mr. Chadwick for the emergency management office with Medina County. And so we continue to collaborate like this with this event and many more in the future, so we are prepared for whatever may come. Like, prepare for the worst and pray for the best. So I want to thank everybody that was involved in that process. We still have a cold front on Friday night, about 25 degrees, but knock on wood and prayer, everything's going to be fine with the infrastructure and operations of the city. So thank you.
All right, and thank you, David. Appreciate it. Okay, I believe that's it for agenda item number 5. Agenda item number 6, consider approval of council minutes from the regular council meeting of December the 12th, 2023. Okay, Josh.
I've only got one edit. It's regarding the airport. I would just like it to reflect in there that I did request we get an appraisal before moving forward on any renovations.
Yes, go ahead.
Page 4.
I get clarification. You asked for an appraisal on what, sir?
On the airport property.
The entire airport?
Yes.
The property and the buildings and everything? The total
Yes.
value? Okay.
Where did you need that added to the meeting notes, though?
Page 4, under the 12th order of business.
I haven't found it there, Josh. Oh, here it is. Okay, please
But
repeat
we
that now? I
didn't do,
found
we
it.
didn't do a motion or anything on that.
Correct.
You just made a statement you would like it to
Yes.
be done. Okay, I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't remember that.
So it wouldn't be an action item that would go into
Nope.
the minutes?
It's not an action item, no.
Okay, okay. But you want it added to the minutes?
I would like it added, yes.
Okay. You got that, Dora?
Yes, we got that.
Okay, we good? Okay, guys, anything else on the minutes?
That looked good to me.
They look good to me. Debbie?
I'll make a motion
Okay.
that we accept the minutes with the edit for Josh.
Okay, we have a motion from Debbie to accept the minutes with
Second.
the edit. We have a second from Michael. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, agenda item number 7, consider and act upon the ground storage tank cost estimates. All right, David, I think you have the floor again.
Yes, sir. As the council is aware, we have a ground storage water tank that needs to be replaced. We have our city engineer, Mr. Garcia, went out and got estimates for the repair of that. He's going to brief us at this time.
Good evening, council. Happy New Year to everybody. In front of you, you have a cost estimate for a 750,000 gallon ground storage tank, which is going to be placed on the property adjacent to where the existing ground storage tank is. It's going to be approximately 62 feet in diameter, and it's going to be at the same height as the existing ground storage tank. Now, for this ground storage tank, we're also going to have transmission lines that have to be connected to the mains. We have new piping, new pumps and motors. We're going to have to move the generator from once it's installed, the existing, to the new one once it's constructed. We're going to have to put in a new gas line, new fencing, and it came out to a subtotal of $1.8 million. But I added in there contingencies because you never know what's going to come up during construction, and things do come up. So I added 20%, and then the miscellaneous fees for engineering, electrical engineering, geotechnical, foundation design. And so the total of the estimate is $2.371 million.
Fun.
I have a question. So as I learned tonight from our TERS FAQ, project costs may include water, wastewater, and drainage systems. Would this be a possibility to leverage some of that money to place that over near Walmart and basically copy paste the project somewhere? I know we've already got the engineering done. It wouldn't slow much down a whole lot other than, hey, can we look for some land to acquire that way and use a different pot of money so it costs us less in debt?
Okay,
So you want to move the tower and the ground storage all the way over here?
We're talking about moving. We're building a new tank regardless. Could you build that new tank in a new location
And
with
then
money that
pump
we
it
can't
to the
use?
tower? That's
We
kind
need some big pumps to pump all that water.
of, wow.
It's it's higher elevation, so I don't know. That's a great engineer question.
Good. It wouldn't.
well, let's backtrack, please. So, how does this relate to the storage tank that we just bought an acre of land for?
How much is on our TERS account?
That's,
And how much could
this
we
is
use?
his tour's business.
Why not? So it would be over there next to
Okay, we have
TERS land. And it was,
$62,000 in the TERS account.
oh, never mind. Yeah, drops in the bucket.
Yeah.
I withdraw my statement.
Gotcha. So, of course, if we get this other land developed, then we'll have a much bigger TERS account. Okay. All things considered. Okay. Just kind of review and what have you, so everyone here will understand exactly what we're talking about. A few months back, we were able to negotiate with the school district to purchase another acre of land next to an acre that we have where we have a ground storage tank and the water tower over by Warhorse Stadium. Okay, so we bought an acre, and then the school was worked real well with us. It all worked out quite nicely. This will allow us to put the new storage tank. The old one is in critical condition, and that's not an overstatement. Right, there's a huge hole in the top. It's greatly outlived its life. So we were able to get this other acre of land, and the new storage tank would be built right there with it. And then we also have additional land, additional room for a water tower that's going to be needed not too far away in the future. Okay, so this will allow us to hook up with most of the existing plumbing and the pipes and everything that are already there, and it saved the city a ton of money and probably 7 to 8 days worth of the town being out without water. Right now, our only water source are the 2 wells out on 1343 that comes into that storage tank. Okay, so this is a very, very critical issue, and one that we must get moving on. So that's what we're talking about. And that storage tank, hopefully this is an overestimate. He's got it $2.3 million. Okay, yes ma'am.
When we first talked about this, which was, I want to say 8, 9, 10 months ago, of course the estimate was a lot larger, so I'm happy to see it's gone down. But is it still going to take a year to build the tank?
Yes, I don't know if we're able to I put this together at the last second. It's a kind of a schedule, anticipated schedule.
Oh, you probably did.
Do you have that in front of you?
I don't know.
This is another thing where we've got to start the process.
That's okay, I just thought that was just a question, it wasn't still going to be a year. And you probably did give it to us, and I probably have it here. Thank you, sir. Yep, it's going to be a year. Cool beans.
Now, this is all under the assumption that we get started on everything next week.
Right.
With the plans and everything that goes with that, and plan preparation, advertisement, and bid award, and notice to proceed. And I'm thinking that's going to be 3 to 4 months. Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. And so while we're going through that process, once we give the notice to proceed to the new contractor, all the fabrication of the tank is going to be happening, and that's going to take up to 12 weeks. So in that time, we're going to be putting in the new pump station, the new pump house, the pumps and motors, and the piping that's going to be connected to the existing transmission lines that are going to connect to Colonial Parkway. And so that way, that will be done while we're waiting for the actual tank to be fabricated, because it's going to be big steel plates that have to be rounded and formed. And then once they deliver that, the actual erection of the tank's going to take about, they say 8 to 10 weeks, which is about 4 to 5 months. So in all of this timing, I'm thinking if everything goes good without any problems, it's going to take about a year. And at the worst case, I'd say about a year and 3 months from now, we'll have a fully operational ground storage tank.
So we need a motion to start this?
Make a motion to authorize city administrator to begin the process.
Is that all we need to do tonight? To say yay?
I think we're just approving the purchasing the storage tank and referring to that estimate. So we have to have a motion to buy the storage tank before we get in.
Make a motion, we authorize city administrator to work with the engineer to purchase necessary materials, negotiate necessary contracts, and execute expeditiously.
Got it.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Josh for the city administrator to start the process of purchasing the storage tank. Debbie, second by Debbie. Any further discussion? Okay, hopefully we'll come into that, but we usually don't.
I'm hoping so too.
All right, okay, all in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, agenda item 8. David has asked for us to consider moving this to the next the next regular meeting, I'll let him explain to you the reasons once to get more information. But David, go ahead, just make sure I don't get it wrong.
All right. We request more information, more time on this issue because we needed to consider some additional cost projections that the city is going to incur. It's not just the water rate, but it's also projected out capital improvement projects, things like that that's going to cost the city in the future. So we want to ensure that we have all the information, all the calculations presented first, and then we'll give you multiple options on what to choose from moving forward. But at this point, I don't want to present something that is going to be leave the city council and the citizens shorthanded in the end, wind up having to spend additional money in the future. So
Yeah, I had questions
appreciate
about
that.
that, if it was going to handle all these other new things that were coming through. I was like,
Yeah, we got a lot happening.
yeah,
And my apologies, because I sit here on this panel, we're all reading what the agenda is, but agenda item number 8 was consider and act upon approving the water and sewer rate study. Okay, so that's something we've been working on, and like David said, he wants to bring a lot more information back to us to make sure we have everything at our disposal before we make decisions about future water and sewer rates and so forth.
I'll make the motion when we table this until February's meeting.
Okay, we have a motion by Debbie to table agenda item number 8.
Second.
Second by Josh. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0. Agenda item number 9, consider and act upon adopting a resolution authorizing and approving publication and posting of a notice of intention to issue the city's combination tax and limited pledge revenue certificates of obligation in a maximum aggregate principal amount not to exceed $2.5 million and other matters in connection therewith.
on the way, this is Mr. Andrew Samko, and he's going to give us a presentation on pro forma that they conducted for the city regarding the $2.5 million certificate obligation and the financials. Thank you.
This is for the ground storage, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
just making sure.
I was going to get to that.
Project.
Thank you very much for that introduction. My name is Andrew Friedman with Samco Capital Markets.
Hi, Andrew.
Along with my partner Mark McCliney, we serve as the financial advisor to the city. What I've handed out is a timetable of events for a financing. You'll see the heading says $2 million.
You're pretty tall, but good luck with that. There you go.
Is that on? This is for $2.5 million. That's just a typo. Things have changed over the course of the last couple of weeks. A certificate of obligation is a long-term debt instrument. The city has issued and has outstanding multiple series of certificates of obligation already. The process for issuing a certificate of obligation, for those of you who weren't on council the last time we borrowed money, begins with the action item you're taking tonight, a notice of intention resolution, which states the amount of money, maximum amount of money to be borrowed, and sets forth the maximum amortization for these certificates, which in this case is 20 years, outlines what the use of those proceeds will be, which is for utility system improvements, and then finally establishes a date at which the City Council will entertain and award the sale of the certificates of obligation, which is March 19th, 2024, at your City Council meeting. That'll go in the paper and on your website for 2 consecutive weeks. After 46 days have elapsed, the city is then in a position to entertain and accept bids for these certificates of obligation. We'll go through a bond rating process and then put this out for bid to investment banks all around the country to submit their best bid the date of your council meeting on March 19th. We'll then bring back the final numbers, the final interest rates received at that time. We'll know the exact amortization schedule, what that financial impact will be, and the City Council, you all will have the opportunity to vote yea or nay on the sale of those obligations at that time. So we're setting forth and starting the process tonight. The city is not necessarily committed to issuing this debt tonight, but starting that legal process. And so if all goes according to plan, interest rates are acceptable at the March meeting, and you all award the sale, the funds would be delivered to the city on April 17th, according to this timetable. The other bit of information that I handed out to you all is a pro forma, which is looking at the revenues and expenditures of the utility system. Not only do we have this $2.5 million financing to construct this new groundwater storage tank, you also have an application with the Water Board for other projects, again, not issued, but that is in the hopper, so to speak. And so we wanted to look at our financial ability to repay these obligations as well as that Water Development Board obligation. You all are also obviously considering a water and sewer rate study, and part of my conversation with Mr. Jordan earlier was the rate study, to my knowledge, you all have at this point at least. I'm not sure whether or not those water rates take into consideration your need for capital over the coming years to address the system. We want to dig in and make sure that the rates you're adopting are ultimately going to lead for your ability to repay these obligations and pay for other projects that may be necessary over the next 5 years. I expect we'll get clarity on that certainly before we get to a March sale date. You've also got a longer lead time with the larger Water Development Board project to work out these kinks. Based upon the 2022 audit and the 2023 unaudited financials, the utility's in great shape. Generated an operating income of over $500,000, $543,000 in fiscal year 2022. You'll see there in the middle of the page, the Certificates of Obligation Series 2024 at $2.5 million. That's roughly $195,000 annually over 20 years to repay that $2.5 million. So you have the financial wherewithal to take on this debt based upon the revenues and operating expenditures the city has already. Obviously, as you improve the system and certainly adopt equitable rates for ratepayers both on water and sewer, I would expect that your operating income will get better on its own. Certainly, as you decrease I&I in your system, financials generally improve with that. But all of this to say that we're in good shape, but when you move to the over $5 million financing through the Water Development Board based upon the current financials, you'll see on the far right side of the page a surplus or deficiency of revenues over the next 30 years. And you'll see that we run into about a 5-year rough spot where, based upon the revenues and expenditures of the system already, we would not be generating enough revenue. Again, that gets back to the need to have a good rate study and implement and adopt those rates to ensure the financial footing of the city's utility going forward. I will say that deficiency at $84,000 in the first year and then declining to about $40,000 5 years later. As of the 2022 audit, you had $2.8 million or over $2.8 million in cash and cash equivalents in the utility. So you've got flexibility, you've got reserves over and above what traditionally you need to help weather that. So in order to proceed with that, I am comfortable with you all proceeding with this financing, certainly with the stipulation that we want to make sure that we get a good rate study in place, and it would be my hope that you all adopt rates that would be projected to be sufficient to pay for this and future projects. So with that, I know that's a lot of information. I'm happy to answer any questions. Mr. George, if I've left anything out you'd like for me to cover, I'm certainly happy to. But that's my spiel this year.
Would you folks be willing to lend a data analyst to do a breakdown to help us with that water study?
I am not a rate consultant. I play one on TV, so
Not the consulting, but pulling the data, using Python, throw out some charts on median rates or median cost per household and that sort of thing.
That gets a little outside of my area of expertise.
Worth a shot.
We're in the process of doing that,
That's what.
which is part of the previous
Oh, okay, I saw the email and didn't have that sort of breakdown, so.
Yeah, so, cool. And then, this particular certificate of obligation is in reference to the storage tank. So, yeah, so, yes, ma'am.
So I would like to move to approve the city's notice of intention resolution so we can get this started.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the intention, the resolution, so we'll start the process.
I'll second that.
We have a second by Mike. Further discussion? Once again, we're starting the process.
Let me apologize to the citizens of Devine in advance for the water rates that are about to come down as a result, but this is...
Next month.
No, I'm just apologizing, but this is what causes it, but we really do have to get this replaced.
I believe the last time we had a water rate increase was the year 2018. So, anyway, okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, agenda item number 10. Consider and act upon negotiations with Mr. David Grego. Just to kind of preface this a little bit, we've been working with Mr. Grego with regards to the cart path and such at the golf course. And I think we have a fair settlement that will work for both parties. Mr. Grego has already removed the temporary fence that had been constructed for the last several months. And although it wouldn't be a formal easement or written easement, the golfers and such are allowed to resume using that cart path. And also Mr. Grego has offered to, in lieu of water charges and such on the previous issue, he's offered to donate money to a worthy golf for the youth golf organization or golf operation. And we worked out, I think, the best way to do this, because we don't have anything in this town that's a 501c or a formal organization. The monies donated would be to the school district to be used for the golf program and hopefully on the driving range with the school district. I have spoken with Dr. Grandjean with the school, and he's in favor of this, and he said that the money can be earmarked for the golf program. So in light of everything considered and everything that we've discussed over these last several months, I think this is a very fair recommendation.
Do we have the dollar amount?
I believe it was at least $3,400,
Okay.
which is what so.
I will make a motion, the City of Devine forgive Mr. Grego any obligation to the debt for water used from the Devine Golf Course, with the stipulation that money then go to the Devine Independent School District for a golf program.
Okay, just to clarify, there really hasn't been a formal charge
Right.
of $3,400.
So there's nothing to
We
forgive.
tabled that motion, so there's nothing to forgive.
How do I...
That we accept his offer. Would be
Okay, I just want to make sure we then are forfeiting the ability to come after him at any point in the future for this specific item.
You can.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear and we're all square on...
Okay, all right. All right, we have a motion from Josh.
Can I say something?
Hang on a second. Look at you. We have a motion from Josh to accept the offer from Mr. Grego without any further recourse in the future with regards to that issue. Fair enough? Okay.
My concern is that the dollar amount that's going to be given to the school district, which is great. They have their own organization that get money donated. That money was taken, how you want to try to word it right. I think that money should probably be given to the city and also distributed to both Parks and Rec, you know? Anybody can donate to the independent school district. The money's going somewhere, which I'm happy.
Right.
You know, it's not getting thrown away. So, whatever y'all want to vote on, I mean, let's just close this deal. Let's get it done.
Okay.
But
I'll second Josh's. Motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, but I'd like, before I recognize the second, I'm sorry, let's backtrack a little bit. Stan, you wish to speak?
I can, at the leisure of the mayor and the council, if you'd like.
Well-
Want to take 20 seconds?
I mean, I know you're here, so we might as well
I want to
hear.
speak just because I'm here.
Yeah, we might-
But you have this great sound system.
Well, it's getting better. But anyway, yeah, if you have anything you'd just like to discuss, I'd like to put it out there before we take a vote.
I just want to say that it was the intention of the Grab Oaks to say we would like this to do something to benefit the golf program in this city, because it touched the golf course. It's not a 501c. I know that the city could use the money in many different ways. We have been discussing this with the city, and apparently they want to put up a driving range at the high school, and they also want to be able to purchase some machines so people can buy buckets of balls that would generate more money. It would also go into the athletic department. There was also a problem of kids at the golf course, and people didn't want kids learning to golf in the middle of people golfing. And also the driving range that supposedly the high school's going to build.
It's already there for the most part.
Right.
As far as the
That was just the
82.5.
nature of why the money was proposed that way, and I do understand that, yes, there's a lot of different ways for it, but we're trying to get a way to get both sides to sit here and say, here, we'd like to just reasonably resolve this, and that seemed to be the best way that we can get all parties to agree. So I don't have anything more to say about that.
Yeah, okay.
Until the excuse then.
Okay. Now we have a motion and a second. Mike, great comments. Do we have any further discussion?
Not so much in rebuttal, but I just want to say I do appreciate the act of good faith and contributing to something meaningful within the community. To me, it seems like a step in the right direction to repairing this relationship and hopefully being a little bit more productive as a team and a community. So I hear your concerns, though.
Okay. All right. Okay, we have a motion. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 4-0. Thanks, everybody. Okay. Agenda item number 11, consider and act upon a fee schedule for the code compliance department.
This item was brought back to the City Council, at the request of Councilor Ritchie regarding the code fee schedule. We broke it down as requested. The code fees that goes to our current inspector, Bureau Veritas, and what goes to the city. So this is a fee broken down as requested. Open for comments or questions.
I appreciate you folks getting after it and really itemizing this stuff. My only request is to remove that plus 30% under each of the fees, just so folks can look at this quickly and say, I know this is exactly how much I have to pay. And there's never a complaint again of why am I paying the city so much, but it's very clear this is what you're paying if you're a Veritas, or soon to be the fire department, this is what you're paying the city. And that's that way it's a little bit more predictable, and we lose a lot of that confusion. Thank you.
So you would remove the 30% on residential.
Well, so I did get clarification on this. The fees that are listed city fee is the 30%. So when you say the plus 30%, that adds unnecessary confusion. So for instance, the 30% of 400 is 120 plus 30%. That's very confusing. But if we remove the 30%, then it's just crystal clear. If someone wants to figure out what percentage of the inspection fee they're paying, they can do the calculation. We don't need to be extra redundant and tell them. Because the way it reads now, it seems like, okay, I have to pay the inspection fee, $400, then a permit fee of $120 plus 30% of I don't know what, and that's going to equal $520, but is there an extra 30%? Am I making sense there?
You talking inspections or permits?
What's under permits?
Okay, at one
Right,
time, I
permits,
think
inspections.
it was 30% was the permit portion of the fee. So the $30 really is the 30%.
Right.
So yes, just the wording plus 30% just needs to be taken out because it's already there in the column.
Okay.
I now see what you're saying, because I'm like, I don't.
So it's not 30 and then an additional 30.
It's not an additional
Okay.
30%. And I think that's what you're trying to say, is
Okay.
it looks that way.
Right.
Okay.
Fair enough. So they'll be straight down the board?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So technically, if we do go with the fire department, we can leave another column?
Yep.
Okay.
And also, from what I understand, once we get all the fees with the fire department and everything, they should be a little lower than Bureau Veritas.
Right.
So then will it still be the 30%?
It's still gonna be 30%, yes.
Personally, at these rates, I don't mind if we just make it a flat fee.
Yeah. that would be
They seem to
something.
be very, very reasonable rates.
David, go ahead.
The fire chief wants to speak.
Okay.
Want to say something?
Okay, Chief is here. Might as well bring him in.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Just to clear up a couple things, our rates are going to be lower, so this is an important topic, because if you're going to do 30%, it's going to be 30% of which set. Or you do a flat fee, and that way the city makes the same no matter which company they go with.
Right.
So I want to be clear on that, because if you're going to take away the 30%, you see what I'm saying? Because if you put in there that it's 30%, and then they see our fees, or they see Veritas fees,
It's the way this was written, just an example.
Sure.
It says here, residential, what is this, BV free? Oh, the other
company,
people's,
right.
theirs is $100 for the inspection. The city's fee, which is the permit, is $30. But they also put plus 30% underneath in that column, which it didn't need to be there.
correct, but if our fee isn't $100 to begin with, that 30% won't come out to $30.
Correct,
And so
but
if-
we can still have a $30.
Absolutely. I'm just saying, having both in there is confusing, I get that.
Yes.
But just make sure if you're going to have a flat fee, or have it listed as a flat fee, they
I'm good
understand
with
it's
the
not
way
the
it's
same.
written, just say, get rid of plus 30.
Yep.
That's all.
Flat fee.
And leave those as the permit fees, and then whatever the fire department would be another column, whatever the fire department's inspection. Am I making
Yes.
sense? Okay.
Regardless of the
Because
inspection
you're
fee,
looking at
just
me
keep the permit fees the same.
kinda not there.
How about we go, okay, right now we're operating under this. Okay, right, until we get everything else set up.
Correct.
Greg, you know when you might have all that together for us?
So actually, the fees are in, we're just talking some wording in the contracts and whatnot. And so hopefully, by the next meeting, whenever that is,
Okay.
we'll have things worked out with the lawyer and all the wording and make sure everything's good. But all of that should be available even tonight if you guys want to take a look at that. And
Tonight's,
Yeah, no, yeah. But yes, the numbers are ready, that's the point.
gotcha, okay, so perhaps we take the 30% out now because that's what we're working with, and then when Greg comes back with his rates, we'll just adopt a whole new rate schedule? Does that sound right?
Or like Debbie recommended, that we just keep
Just
the
leave
same
them the
permit
way they
fees.
are now.
Leave it at 30%?
Just
No, no.
leave, no, just whatever it says here, like this one says $30, the other one's $38.08. Well, we could get rid of 08, but $48, $120. If we left our permit fees, whatever they say right here, and then when the fire department, if we say okay to all that, because I can't say we've said it, but let's pretend there's a column for the fire department's inspection fee then. But our permit fee stays the same no matter if it's the fire department or Buenos Veritas or
Yeah, we're still gonna,
Joe Blow down the street. It doesn't
yeah, we're still gonna
matter.
have to have a rate schedule for Veritas because there's a backup if something were, so you're still
Her
gonna need
point
that.
is, the permit fee would remain $120. The
Gotcha.
inspection fee could vary. That way we don't need to recalculate anything, and it's crystal clear for all of our taxpayers.
Well, then that's great.
Whatever it
We can
says
do that
here
right now.
today, that's
Okay.
what we should keep it at,
Okay,
no matter who does the inspection.
all right.
Did you want to flatten out the fees? You mentioned cutting off like the 08.
Yeah, can we just round them off to be like dollar amounts and not 08 and 42 and
I like that.
round them off to just dollar amounts? There's only one or two like that, so it shouldn't really be that big a deal.
So you're saying like make it $40 instead of $38.08 or
No, just make it $38.
$38? Okay.
The only thing it's gonna cut that we can't round off is
The new building.
the square footage. Those we can't round off, but we already know it's so much cents per square foot, so that's a whole different ballgame. But for all these others, just let's leave them at that. Let's make it easy,
I like that.
because I think we've spent a lot of time on this. We don't need to spend more.
Okay, it would seem to me that basically stays as it is until the fire department, because then when the fire department has all their rates and everything, we can approve it all at one time, rather than going down line item this evening.
Yes.
Good? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Those were two little things that I saw and I went, this is
Yeah,
more
you're right.
confusing.
Yeah. I
Make a
agree.
motion, we table this item until we get the rates from the fire department.
Okay, we have a motion from Josh to table until we get rates from the fire department.
I'll second that motion.
We have a second by Michael. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any hand, that's fine. Okay, motion carries 4-0. All right.
So probably February.
Fingers crossed.
Come on.
Agenda item number 12. Consider and act upon the adoption of the following 2021 International Code, which includes building codes, residential code for 1 and 2 family dwellings, fire code, plumbing code, national electrical code, mechanical code, energy conservation code, fuel gas code, existing building code, and property maintenance code. All right, David, you got the floor.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor and Council. When I got here, I discovered that we are currently under the 2009 inspection building codes, and so it'd be great and proper, I believe, to bring us up to the most recent inspection codes to ensure the safety and security of our city. And currently, with the passage of these codes, there will be no additional charge or any required changes to the existing structures, only if you do major renovations or building new structure. So that's the reason I'm recommending we bring these codes up to the current inspection series. Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to be making a new committee for zoning and planning and all of our ordinances. I feel this is something they should be looking at, because there's a lot more than just bringing it up to date. This will cost a lot more for any future builders or contractors coming in. If you have a major renovation, let's say I'm going to do one, going up to this new building inspection level could double my cost. And I feel if we're going to do this, we need someone to tell us what are the changes from what we have to what you're presenting. Like, what are the real changes? And what's it going to bring to the party versus cost the party? Okay, because what it brings to the party might not be that big a deal versus...
Just to clarify real quickly, I was talking with David earlier, I believe nothing will change at all unless there's more than 51% of the renovation. So that lessens that a little bit.
But any new business coming in is going to cost them. Like any new contractor that wants to come develop, it's going to cost them a lot more under this new thing.
Well, you have, we're operating in codes that are 12 years old. We've got to get up to date.
Okay, I think our new committee should be doing this. That's what we're going to be putting them together for.
Okay, we have the fire chief here to also speak on this real quick, just to kind of clarify, hopefully, some more.
I absolutely understand your concern. One of the things that you can do when you go to adopt these is you can put in a grandfather clause that says as long as you stay under 50% renovation or something of that nature, then you're still under the same codes that you were before this date. And so let's say you're doing a renovation and you do something where you're like, okay, I do a quarter of it now and I do a quarter of it later and I do a quarter after that. Well, as long as you're doing a quarter each time, you're staying under, in which you can stay on the old codes. But if you don't update the codes, any new businesses that come in are going to be 12 years behind on where they should be as far as keeping up their electrical codes, their plumbing codes, and all of that. So if we're really talking about building the infrastructure of the city, which is what you're talking about, if you're really talking about actually updating our city, we need to update these codes. So anything that is new that's coming in has to go by the new codes. And yes, it's going to raise the price of some construction and building and all of that, but it's the same price they're going to pay if they go to San Antonio or if they go to Atascosa or they go to Frio. And the reality is you're going to have safer buildings. So, I mean, we can argue the fact that yes, it's going to raise costs. It might, it very well might. And if we're worried about the people that are already here and have been here, you can put in those grandfather clauses and protect them. But if you don't take the step, we've been talking about you got to take the step. If we don't take the step to update the codes, you're never going to have the buildings and the safety that you really want to have. And we're going to continue to fight the same problems that we've been fighting for a while.
Now, Greg, you bring up a really good point that I hope this board can address, which is specific edits to the IBC, because under TMO we do have the authority to edit, but just blanket approving it, adamantly opposed to. But to your point, I just see a path forward here, but with edits. And a question I do have for you gentlemen, how many Devine-based contractors have you spoken to about this? To suss out the implications, both as Debbie brought up there, the cost of construction and renovations and whatnot.
Well, I have not spoken to any contractor. My duty and obligation as the city administrator is ensure the safety and security of all the citizens, the community, and the people that come through it. So, as a result, I think that bringing these codes up to date to the most recent materials required, and so forth and so on, is the best way to do that. I understand costs. At the end of the day, the cost of not doing it could be more than the cost of requiring it over a period of time.
I mean, are we going to require people to drive Volvos and Teslas because they're safer cars? I mean, there's a balance here. I mean, you get what I'm saying. It might be safer, but we're also not going to push over a lot of the structures folks are living around here that are about to fall over, and those are an absolute fire risk and a safety risk for collapse. But there's a balance here.
To your point, we may not push them to drive a certain brand or particular type of car, but the federal government's not going to change their safety rating on what the car has to be either. At some point, you have to take a stand for safety and protection, and that's what these codes do. These codes are there to protect people. You don't want a construction person coming in and cutting corners that they wouldn't be able to cut if we were under the new codes just to save a few bucks, but if it might potentially hurt somebody down the line. That's what we're talking about. So, go ahead, Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I did talk to a builder. Just a generic question was air conditioner. If you go under this new thingy here, if I need to get a new air conditioner, mine dies, and I'm supposed to come to the city to get a permit to do all of this, and I get told, oh, guess what, we're under this international code, blah, 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 now. Oh, well then, guess what? I have to have that new energy efficient, they have a word for it, I can't remember what I was told the word was, and it costs like $18,000 versus a $7,000 replacement today. Okay, I get it, maybe it is safer, maybe it is better for the air, maybe all of that, but $18,000 versus $7,000, I'm gonna go without air conditioning. I'm just saying, there are certain things in here that we can edit out. We can say we want this little statement to be at the 2019 or whatever that we're at, but we want all of these. Like, we do have the ability to edit the codes. I think our committee should do this, not us. The committee should be doing that.
According to former Vice President Joe Biden, gas stoves are also a safety issue. So I would really value the input of that committee before we go implementing something brand new so that we get all the edits. That, in your mind, because you folks are running the inspection game, I'm sure in your mind it's crystal clear, but we don't have that background. None of us are contractors. So I really want to see the input of folks who have done the research and actually do this for a living, or at least have the daily experience with it, to give us a fully edited copy before we go approving it, and then have to go back through and make edits.
Was that a fair comparison that Debbie mentioned? Because...
Look, I came up here to speak to the fact that we have to update the codes. And if we keep kicking the can down the road and we keep talking about let's get a committee and let's do this and let's do that, we're not actually starting anything. Do I think you should adopt codes blindly? No, I don't. I do believe that the most up-to-date codes are the safer codes out there. I believe that is the best way to go. Can you make modifications and changes? Yes, you can. But you can also adopt the code and adopt the changes. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing is, while you have valid points, and the code is written broad. It's not written for small town Texas, right? So there are things you can adjust to. But if we don't start somewhere, right, then we're going to have the same problem, which is we're 2 decades behind on our code.
Aren't we starting with a committee tonight?
Well, I thought that committee had more to do with zoning recommendations and things of that nature.
It's supposed to be zoning and code.
So it makes me wonder, okay, when you have,
So this could be fun.
once again, just let you know, hang on guys, hang on. Just let you know, I'm very neutral on this, okay? When I see International Building Code, it tells me there's already been a ton of research put into it, and the list goes on to adopt these codes. Okay, that's number one. Number two, as far as existing stuff in the town, we've already mentioned that it won't affect any renovations or anything else that's more than, that has to be at least 51% of your home, okay, your property. Okay, so how in the world could we get 5 people together that might be qualified to comment and recommend code?
You're requesting it right now, and none of us have any clue.
Okay. All right. So whereas whoever devised this code or these codes had clues.
These are the same people that say gas stoves are unsafe and we should all go electric.
There you go.
Oh, that I don't know how it applies, because as it is right now, you can buy a gas car, you can buy an electric car, so they're all safe. That's all I'm saying. So
is this bill too big to read? Do we have to pass it to find out? That's what I'm hearing. I want time to digest something like this.
So it does say
not insignificant.
It does say consider. So obviously we're going to have some more time to let this digest. But anyway.
Greg,
just asking my concerns, because I heard what you had to say.
I appreciate it. I mean, please keep advocating for this stuff. I'm not adamantly opposed to it. It's just, this is a big change. I really want it to be well thought before we make a decision.
Well, I 100% agree with you. I want it to be well thought, and I think to the mayor's point, the people that do this are well thought. You keep making the comparison to the people that tell us gas is unsafe, but that's not exactly true. This is through UL research. This is through the people that literally the only thing they're looking for is, can we do it safer, can we do it better? That's their purpose. They're not in politics, they're not in any of that stuff. These people are looking to make buildings safer so they don't hurt people. And I have no problem with you wanting all the information. That's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. But I will continue to advocate for better codes. Again, we're 2 decades behind. We got to catch up. And so whatever steps that takes is whatever steps that takes. But I'll always advocate for us to be safe.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah. If I was a home buyer coming from San Antonio, coming over here, the house just got remodeled, and it got remodeled from the Old Testament, put it this way.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it from the New Testament, that everything was checked out. Because if I bought that house from the Old Testament and I wanted to put a touch to it, add another room or something like that, then I found out that, hey, it's not up to par from what it should be. I think it needs I think you hit it, man. I mean,
Well, that's
we need to be on the new version.
And the other thing too is,
Got to.
okay, when you have new construction and new people and people selling their houses and so forth, so the mortgage companies and the people that are going to accept that as collateral, they're going to use these codes. They're not going to refer to City of Devine's codes if they're going to approve the financing for that property.
That's inaccurate.
They go
Yes.
by the code of wherever it's been built.
They're not ripping out drywall to check code.
This is true.
I'm so sure about that. I don't think they go by.
I've recently financed a house in the city of Devine.
Yeah.
Basically, we're making
Been past
the
5
city
years.
buyers. I mean,
So they go by codes from Devine, not codes that their
Well, they actually are
mortgage
looking
company
to make
wants?
sure it's structurally safe, there's no mold, there's no, whatever.
Well, so housing, we're going down a rabbit hole.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I personally want to know what the differences are from what we have today to what these codes want. But I still feel our new committee should be doing this and not us, because I am not an expert in this. But the new committee should be.
I make a
Well, I'm
motion.
pretty sure a contractor who was standing right there, he would say, I want to build this house to the standards that it needs to be, not to the old standards.
Oh, no, they're
You
not.
know, I mean,
I have two of them.
Trust me, they're not.
yeah, this is why you brought them here, so they can educate us, and they're telling.
So my
this
view on
true
this
story.
is, we are asking the fire department to be contractors to check out the codes, which makes him educated and an authority on codes of safety. This authority on codes of safety just told us that we need to update our codes.
I'm not against updating them. I just think we need to really look at what's being updated. And
How long
is it-
will that take?
Well,
It's been 21 years, no houses are collapsing on themselves, but I think safely we could request this new board to do it within 6 months.
Why do you want to wait? I mean, we're here now. Let's just make this decision, because
City of Light was on
this is the
2000.
this is the problem with the councils, past councils. They're always tabling and moving things over, and by the time you know it, it's already.
but we're not tabling this, we're having it looked at,
A new council will
just
come
not
in.
by us.
If I may, just to what you just said, how long it would take. The IBC, it takes a room of experts at least a year just to review it. So that's a team of people who do this for a living. And that's why the codes only change every 4 or 5 years, because it takes a while. So you're asking a bunch of people who don't do this for a living to do it in 6 months. And then you want them to come back and give you an educated guess on this, basically, because that's what it's going to be. So I think what you're asking is not unheard of, but you're pushing to the side that these things have already been looked at. They've already been gone over. This is also why when I talked with Mr. Jordan about this, I always suggested that we always adopt the code previous. And the reason we adopt the code previous is because when the new code comes out, there's always some issues. There's always some things they go through and they find. Because even after 4 years of research, when they start to implement these codes, they find there's some kinks. There's some things that, we can improve this, this is a problem. So if you're always adopting the code before, by the time you roll around to adopt that next code, they've worked out those kinks and it's a little better set. So what you're asking for is people who don't do this to do it in 6 months, when it takes, trained professionals to do this at least a year just to review it before they act on it.
Just not trusting a centralized authority to tell us what's best for our town without a little bit more research.
Okay, well, we have the agenda items, so we need a motion of some sort, whether it be to approve the item or to table it, or to deny it.
Make a motion, we table the item until some level of review is conducted by the board, which we have yet to vote on, and code or planning and zoning has an opportunity to review as well.
But just table it.
Say again?
Okay, we don't even have the committee formed yet.
No,
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion to table the item.
no. Can I override that motion? I mean,
We have a motion now, you can have another motion if this one doesn't pass.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion to table the item.
Second it.
We have a second. A motion by Josh, tabled by Debbie to second. All right, all in favor? All opposed?
Oh,
Okay, and we have a tie vote. I deny the motion
Wow.
to table, unless there isn't any further motions.
I make a motion that we consider the Devine Fire Department on the 2021, which one is it?
Was to adopt the 2021 International Code.
Yes, international codes, building codes, residential codes, for the one of the two family dwellings, fire codes, plumbing codes, natural electric codes, mechanical code, energy conservation codes, fuel gas code, existing building codes, property maintenance code.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt the 2021 International Code as read. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Stacy. Motion by Mike, second by Stacy. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? Okay. I will vote to approve the motion because we can amend as you see fit later on. Once again, we need to start the process. We need to become updated. Motion passes 3-2.
May I make a statement?
With regards to the previous items?
Yes.
Sure.
I would simply like to note, I think it is arrogant of us as the city council to pass a regulation that will directly impact a full trade without consulting anyone in that trade.
Okay. You read your statement, and once again, things can be amended and so forth, but we got to have a starting point. So, motion passes. Moving on, agenda item number 13. I'm sorry. This would be the ordinance number. I need to announce it now? Okay. Okay, legality necessitates that on the motion for us to adopt the 2021 International Code, it would be original ordinance 1-24A. Good, Tom?
1-what?
24A.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item 13, consider and act upon adopting a resolution which authorizes the approval for the management contract for the HOME program through the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs for the RSP HOME's parentheses HRA agreement contract. Okay, David.
That's Doran's.
All right, Dora.
This is the start to get the admin so they can start doing the paperwork necessary to start turning everything into the state for the 2 houses for the home program.
We already have 2?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've let y'all know on an update. It is on Bay and Washington.
Okay.
Bay Street and Washington.
I'll make the motion that we adopt the resolution authorizing approval of the management contract for the home program through the Texas Department of Housing, Community Affairs for the RSP home agreement contract.
You get short at this.
It's short of breath.
We have a motion from Debbie to consider and act upon and to adopt the resolution that authorizes the approval for the management contract for the home program.
I'll second it.
Okay, this, if adopted, this would be resolution 1-24B. We have, once again, the motion was by Debbie, second by Stacy to approve resolution 1-24B. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Agenda item 14, consider and act upon adopting an ordinance creating a City of Devine zoning reform committee, providing for the repeal of any ordinance or sections of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance, providing a severability clause, and providing when this ordinance shall become effective. David, you wish to elaborate?
Yes, sir. Mayor and Council, y'all asked us to have our attorney, Mr. Kate, to draft a resolution to form a committee to give advice to the heading of this particular thing, and that's what we've done, to bring it back to be approved by the council, so the committee can be officially formulated. And then at that point, needs some sense of direction, scope of their duties and responsibilities.
Another thing, Mayor, I'd like to point out that under Section 2, council needs to determine when this committee would expire.
Didn't we say a year?
Okay, in case everybody didn't hear that, council also needs to determine when this committee will expire, or the term of that, of each committee.
I think we said a year. I thought we said a year, but I could be wrong.
Definitely said a year.
Okay, so it would be 1 year? Okay.
I mean, if they need more time, of course, we can extend it.
That's what the ordinance says, that it can be extended.
Okay, so we'll start with a year, go from there?
Fair enough. Okay, it is a year in here. Okay, also,
Are we naming our nominees tonight?
we're just forming for the committee, and then you will need to...
Who goes in the committee?
Huh?
Who goes in the committee?
Well, I'm going to read it to you.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so, all right, if it's adopted tonight,
Yeah, it states that we each...
this was in the packet. Okay, for example, okay, duration, the committee shall expire basically a year from the adoption unless dissolved sooner or extended later by the city council. So that can be modified. Section 3, the committee shall be composed of 5 members appointed by the city council. Excluding the mayor, each city council shall nominate 1 member of the committee. Pretty standard what we already do. Each committee shall nominate a person who lives, works, or owns a business within the city limits of Devine. The mayor and city administrator shall provide input and information to the committee. Newly appointed members of the committee shall begin their duties. And the list goes on. Josh, you're chomping to say something. Go right ahead.
It was not part of the it was explicitly part of the motion to allow folks not in the city, as city residents, to be a part of the committee.
Say that again?
It was explicitly part of the motion that folks did not have to be within the city.
It says or...
Well, it's basically lives, works, or owns a business
in the city.
In the city. Now, my personal opinion would be, I don't even think we need this clause in there because council is appointing members, okay, to be ratified by the council. So I don't think we need to have any stipulations. And I can think of one in particular just off the top of my head. So, right, let's take former Mayor Jerry Beck. Jerry Beck was the mayor. He was on the city council. He was a county commissioner. The list goes on. This would exclude him from serving on that committee. And I'm just using him as an example. So to me, if you want to nominate someone for the committee, whatever criteria you choose should be fine.
That would exclude Greg.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
I'm not pointing you personally.
No, I get that, I know that.
Right.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate to that. That these are going to be the city of Devine zones and zoning and ordinances. Do we really, I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for this, but people that don't live in the city, if they don't have a business here, if they don't, do they have a say? Because they don't work, they don't live and own in the city. Now, they can own a business, because we know a lot of people that do that. They live outside the city limits. But I think it's the people of Devine should be making their own choices, not someone out. It's like someone telling you you can't have a gas stove, okay? That's how I feel about that. That's my personal opinion.
Well,
I'm not saying I'm just playing devil's advocate on that.
Sure. So if that was you, then you wouldn't nominate someone who didn't fit your criteria.
Correct, but I think the ordinance should remain stating that.
Okay.
I personally think the ordinance is written how it should be.
Fair enough.
Why'd you agree to the motion that we explicitly discussed this when I made it?
What do you mean?
We had the same conversation when I made the motion to establish this committee, and you conceded when I made that motion that it could include people from outside the city.
Because some of those people do own businesses inside the city. They just happen to live outside the city. But they run businesses inside the city.
Well, they do pay city taxes.
I'm sorry?
If they own property in a business, they pay city taxes and they contribute to the tax.
Correct. But they should have a say in the city. Joe Blow, who lives 3 miles out, he doesn't own any property here. He doesn't own a company. I don't think he should be telling us what we should be doing.
Advising, not telling. But how is this different from us paying?
I'll use a nicer word, advising.
Okay, one at a time, please. One at a time. Go ahead, Josh.
How is this different from paying $250,000, $300,000 to a company that definitely doesn't live or work here, like we did in 2013 for that comprehensive plan, versus getting folks who do live in the area, do business here, maybe don't reside within these city limits though, and specifically avoided
We're not
because of
spending
these zones.
$250,000.
Let him finish, please. Let him finish, okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Josh.
So,
But I like the way it's worded.
okay,
We make the
I
same
appreciate your-
statement in all our other ordinances for our other committees.
We've also made exceptions to that because we couldn't get folks still in those committees. So was it, I don't know.
I think it was
Parks
the
and Rec?
airport.
Yeah.
It was the
We got
airport.
to go like that.
finish. Okay, moving on, please. Michael, you have any comment on this, please?
No
Okay,
comment.
Stacy?
I agree with Debbie.
Okay, fair enough. That's why you vote. So like I said before, remember, it's an advising committee. It's not binding, okay? They're there to advise. You might have someone, to me, when you pass things like this, you need to be as flexible as possible, so, okay? That's just me. So if you have somebody, for example, let's say they've done this before. Let's say, it just means they can be considered, doesn't mean they automatically get on there. Okay, so if you were, let's say if Michael nominated someone that didn't live in the city, didn't have any of these things, didn't have anything else to go with them, the rest of the council would say, no, you have to nominate someone else. Okay, so you have flexibility there, you have checks and balances. Okay, so that being said, we need to have a motion to approve or disapprove ordinance number 1-24-C.
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Okay, we have a motion by Debbie to approve the ordinance. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Stacy. We have a motion and a second. I'll allow a little further discussion. Josh, can
Just a table to flip, because this is not consistent with the original motion. This is the second time this has happened. Tom?
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, motion passes 4-0. Ordinance is approved. Well, once again, that's what it's all about. Council's here
Make the
to
right
approve.
decision.
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Just some direction for the staff regarding this committee, because I realize we have willing volunteers and so forth. Some of them may be educated in this area and some may not. So my question is there consideration to have someone like the city planner or professional on the committee to give guidance on the review of our existing codes and so forth, and listening to the recommendations that the community members may have?
I'm not understanding the question. I'm sorry, I don't
Is there
understand.
consideration for a professional consultant, perhaps, or advisor to come to the committee and do a workshop on the existing codes and where we are, and then consider their recommendations as they make them moving forward to bring back to the city council? Or
I don't want to spend any money on this.
I'd like to mitigate cost. I can see the value in that, but I'd like to see how much money it's going to cost us to do that before we go committing to it.
I understand if it's desire of the council, I can go out and get a couple of inquiries or a couple of estimates on what something like that. But my concern is, as well-intentioned as the community is and willing to volunteer, if they're not versed in that area or educated in that area, the recommendations that they make is still going to have to be vetted by someone that's through the legal process, as well as somebody that is knowledgeable of the codes and zoning and so forth, before it can be finally approved by the council. Otherwise,
Well, a
it's
lot
going
of
to...
the names that you had put, that you suggested, a lot of them already, that's what they do,
They don't fit in
so.
that box though. They don't own a business in the city. One's an appraiser, and the other's just done this sort of thing in the past. So to the ones that are most knowledgeable and eligible.
Well, there were two that actually are not.
Question?
David,
Okay.
I like that idea, and I'd like to see those cost estimates.
Yeah, if it's gonna cost a ton, our budget is already dinked bad this year, so I don't know.
I'm still, this is an ordinance. It's referring to a zoning reform committee.
That's true.
Okay, it says absolutely nothing about code reform committee.
No, not for code, it's for
Okay,
zoning and
so-
ordinances.
Okay, so we're dealing with zoning, and if I'm not mistaken, this committee was formed basically to report to our P&Z board
Yes,
with recommendations.
yes.
And the P&Z board will either approve or disapprove their recommendations, and they will reply
Bring it
to us.
to us.
Okay, so there's your process.
So it's a third tier away from us.
Yeah,
Which
so-
is what we wanted, so it would.
Right. Well, we just want, I believe the direction of council was to get more participation and more things working. And therefore, I think the committee is going to do that for you. Okay, so.
I like that you're thinking of doing that, having someone who's in the business do, but we're looking at zones and we're looking at ordinances. That, I don't know that we really need to spend money on somebody to oversee that when our planning and zoning guys are, some of them are very knowledgeable. I'm not gonna say everybody, but some are.
Well, let's stay with the issue at hand, please. Okay, we've passed the ordinance.
But he asked the question.
Right.
We're answering
I know.
it.
And you said to bring back, I mean, it was determined to bring back what the cost might be. Okay? So there's no action on it, okay, until we do that. Okay? Am I right?
Ain't no money, I see no money moving.
See? So, okay, moving on, guys. Agenda item 15, consider and act upon streetlight request for 403 Wilkins Way. Who brought this?
I brought this.
Okay.
My understanding is just a normal procedure. The city council is aware that the light's going to be installed on at this location, and is willing to pay the electric bill at that particular light throughout the city, as we do other lights within the city. So.
Are they paying for the installation?
I thought the installation was free,
I
wasn't
thought-
it?
Yeah, I thought the installation was free.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.
Just goes on the pole.
This is maintain and ensure that the city's going to pay electricity at that particular location for that light. That's all, and take
Yeah,
responsibility for the
the
light.
city pays the electric bill, yeah.
Right.
It's
Yes,
just
ma'am.
one more light is what we're
Right.
putting in.
Yeah.
And it's gonna cost us nothing to put in,
No.
just whatever,
Just to maintain.
correct.
Yes, ma'am.
If we can, sorry.
Go ahead.
Have we consulted all the neighbors that will be impacted by this? I know we went to put one of these in down by Fred Morales' property. They were trying to place it directly above somebody's window. So before we go put something in the ground, let's make sure that all the neighbors no one's going to be upset or negatively impacted by this.
Good question. Yeah,
Yes,
'cause I
that did
just,
happen.
I was talking to Mayor 2 weeks ago about some of the lights over here in this side of town, and there is an area where there's a corner and there's a I think it's web, and it's dark. It doesn't even have a corner light where you can turn. I mean, you can actually drive into one of the houses there, and I if it's too dark or too foggy. So, yeah, it's a good question. I mean, if it's free,
I make the motion, we go ahead and approve the streetlight for 403 Wilkins Way as long as the neighbors are okay. The map looks like it's not gonna affect
The
anything.
map looks like they're the ones requesting it in their front yard.
Just about, yes.
Right, I just want to make sure before we commit to this.
Josh, they're here. They're in the back here, the family.
Oh, they didn't sign up to speak on it, so
they
it's
probably
first
didn't.
now. If they're here in regards to this agenda, you are more than welcome to speak.
which one, who is it?
Is there a neighbor that will be upset with the light being in your front yard? I guess that's the
Miss,
question.
what was it?
They probably
Name?
know.
I just saw the name.
Mike Jasso. The neighbors probably didn't know.
I don't know how to say it.
I'm sorry, Mayor, there's two over here, but they left.
Oh, Miss
Oh,
Alvarado?
okay.
I get tired of our nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll make the motion that we approve it as long as the neighbor isn't, because I know Pete did it before. He went, and that's how we figured out ZigZag. I just want to make sure, because I don't want them to put it in and then have 3 neighbors come screaming at us.
Okay, before I have a second. Well, I guess well, you can discuss before you have a second, if I'm not mistaken. So the motion will be to install the street light unless we have objection to it from a neighbor?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, we have a motion for the street light to be installed unless neighbors object.
All right, second.
Okay, we have a second from Michael. Further discussion?
let's please bring it back to council if there are objections. We can come to a resolution that meets everyone's needs.
Yes.
What's been happening in a most recent case on Windy Knoll was that AEP is updating the lights now to LED lights, which are brighter, right? So after the light was installed, it was so bright, it kept the house lit up 24/7. So now they're being replaced by the lower lumen light.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll check out this location and see to ensure that that's not the case and it's not lighting up the
My home is very well lit.
I'm sorry?
My home is very well lit.
Right, exactly. So we'll
Can't
make sure that's
win
lighting.
for losing, can you? You know?
I know.
Just, okay, we do have a motion in a second. Anything else? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Can we take a quick break? I am well hydrated.
Okay, you're well hydrated, you got it. Okay. We will take a short recess of 5 minutes, please. It's now 7:31. No, I just, you know.
Can I talk too much?
That's all right. Okay. Sorry about that. He did the, he goes to where he told me he was leaving. Oh, well, if you wish.
I can.
Don't I need a motion to move things?
Yeah.
You guys good? Okay, I hope we didn't run everybody off. We are now back in session. My time 7:42. 7:42. Okay. We have a request to move up to agenda item number 18. If council wishes, do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we move agenda item 18 in front of 16.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion from Josh to move straight to the item 18, and we have a second by Debbie. All in favor? Motion carries. We now go to agenda item number 18. Consider and act upon proceeding with the proposal for work to be done on hangars 8, 8A, and 10 at the Devine Municipal Airport. Pete has the stage.
Okay. I don't know, did y'all receive all the proposals that were given to?
Pete, is it on? Is your mic on?
Let's pull up.
There was 3.
Oh, okay. I only got 2.
I like that.
Okay.
One from Vortec and Martinez, Tommy Martinez, and the last one was Mike Jag.
We got Jag and Straight.
T. Martinez, I sent it straight.
Oh, okay.
Straight line is T. Martinez.
So what was the other one?
Vortec,
And what was their total?
I think it was 100, no, it was 79,000, I believe.
Okay.
I think,
It was in the middle.
I think Mike Jag,
It kind of was in the middle of the two.
Mike Jag.
His was 1099,
Oh, okay.
and then Straight Line was 61,111.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is brought back to the council at your request, as we got quotes on the doors for repairs to either consider.
So we could lease these things out.
Right.
Ken. Here recently, I think maybe a week before last, we were contacted by someone. Apparently a lot of work is going on in Stinson Airport on the south side.
There is a lot.
Right.
Where?
I drove by Stinson.
Stinson on the south side, and we were contacted by a gentleman who wanted to rent Hangar 10 as is. And at that time, he was offering a couple $1,000s. So we knew we had all this in the works too about the repairs and such and so forth. We haven't had any further interaction with him that I know of, right, David? We haven't heard back from him. I think he was probably waiting on us to get with him. Just saying, just let everybody know about that. I thought it was ironic that here we are finally, you know, talk about getting repairs made to these the hangars that we inherited. And so nothing in stone, just saying.
Make a motion, we call them up and come look at it and visit whatever.
Yeah, I don't think we can motion that, but I think we can. We could call them and double check to make sure. Yeah. So, and then there was also some other inquiries, but I don't think they were legit. I think they were just fishing, trying to find things.
Well, my whole thing, and I'm glad we had someone reach out, I think that's awesome. But if we don't fix these up, we can't lease them, and we'll never make this payment, like, come close to it. So, I personally want to get this started, so we'll be done with it.
Yeah. Well, you know, clearly it's what we need to do at this point. The good thing is that we waited and we got more proposals, so we got 3 proposals now for you guys to consider. And
I was wrong about that. This one came out to 45,000.
Okay.
Oh, 45?
So could you
Well, that's
just go over the 3 that you have, please, and give them a name and the amount that you have right there with you.
So the gentleman that inquired about this hangar 10, he would take it right now as is, and
that was his suggestion at the time.
so then that means if he took it as is, we don't have to mess with that budget of ours, that money that's already there. And you were talking about we didn't have no money for that budget. So why repair it if this guy is willing to take it as is and he do his own work?
Well, once again,
if he inquired about that.
it's not a done deal. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out, just so council will be aware. I would think that you could always modify whatever proposal there is. Let's say if he decided he wanted to take it over, you could discuss with him what he may or may not want done and so forth. So that would be my suggestion, if indeed it did happen. And he had, before the repair started, okay, on hangar 10.
I was just gonna say, we could have, if
We
we
could hear what they
decided
said.
to approve all of this,
Yeah.
which, to whoever,
Right.
but have David call the guy back and say, then we wouldn't have to repair 10. Like, that would just take that portion off.
Or the repair could be what he might want, and then we
Up
can
to
reflect
that
it.
amount.
We can reflect
Like, I don't
it.
wanna pay more than that.
Sure, well, whatever you pass tonight, it is going to be that amount. Okay, but let's just say, for example, it can be incorporated into what you pass tonight. Okay, we might be able to get a little bit more rent money from him if it's something that he explicitly wanted. In other words, almost the same as build a suit. Okay, or, you know, once again, it's just informational, and it's on this agenda item. Nothing in stone, nothing to count on, just something to consider.
I'm open to negotiate a deal as you're proposing there with this gentleman. However, before we move forward on anything else, I would really like to get an appraisal to see how much we could possibly get to sell this airport and be gone with the debt. If we have another renter, it improves the value a little bit. But I would like Mr. Hapsquire's opinion on this. He's got a lot of time with the airport. Is that a poor decision? Is that a indifferent, bad?
I wish I was prepared to answer, but nobody's even talked to me about the repairs that we're doing, and, the numbers that were rattling off didn't mean anything to me because I don't know which hangar, I know which hangars we're talking about, but, there's a 30,000 here and a 40,000 here. I can't really comment on it. I know that when this originally came up, about a year ago or so, my suggestion was that we hold off on doing the electrical until we get a tenant, and then kind of do a build. Well, thank you, sir. Kind of see what the tenant needed, because if there was 3 people went into hangar 10 and they need 3 meters and et cetera. But subsequently, I know we had discussions and decided that we needed to go ahead and do the electrical. And if I remember correctly, the other hangars at the airport that the city owns also have electrical deficiencies. I thought we were going to address it at the same time, but, you know, so I'm not sure about that. I'm 100% in favor of pursuing anybody that would come in and take it as is, even if we have, and not even if, we would have to give some kind of rent abatement and say maybe let the guy have it for $2,000 for the first 5 years and then readjust to, you know, a different range or something like that. I don't know that we've done any kind of marketing for that. If there is some activity going on in Stinson that makes this airport more attractive, you know, maybe we need to do some kind of, I don't know how to market it, but some reach out to the Stinson people and say, hey, you know, we have these hangars here.
Right.
We'll lease them on a, you know, as is, and they're not falling apart. I mean, the 8.8 and 8.8, you know, are pretty nice hangars. And I haven't really addressed what's wrong with 10. I understand the doors, and that's a pretty expensive thing, but I don't know whether you can table this for another month or so and, you know, try to pursue, you know, the build to suit, or not to build to suit, but the as is and give rent abatements for it. That's just my thoughts, Josh.
I appreciate it.
And I'll look at this and I'll get back to you separately on what my thoughts are on that.
Well, that highlights another concern that I made a false assumption that you folks have been added into this, but I mean, we probably shouldn't have a board if it's just to placate folks, but we should be including them in this decision making. So before we go make any more big decisions that impact these folks, that we go and say, hey, why is this a problem? I really think we should include them in those decisions.
They were here the night that we did.
Yeah, I
said
thought
this.
Yeah, this one has been.
chairs were from their recommendation.
Yeah, they recommended that we get this done. That's what came of their last meeting on the, well, I don't know if it's July.
This one has
but
been.
the July meeting.
This one has been ongoing because originally, okay, when we got all this together, you know, we put a hold on all these repairs to see how we're going to proceed. And then the board finally came to us and said that, you know, unless you want to put a ton of money here, a ton of money there, and what have you, we at least got to put them up to minimal standards.
Right.
Okay, so everything is in compliance.
Okay.
With their direction.
Okay.
And I agree with Hap. That was what I was going to get to now. As we're looking at this, because this has been ongoing for a long time, and sometimes we just got to move on and make something happen. With this latest development, I don't suggest that we delay this, okay? What I think would be wise to do would have council approve one of the proposals, okay? You have a dollar amount there, okay? And then I agree with us aggressively pursuing tenants at Stinson that may be relocating. And then we can proceed after that. But I don't think we should delay this to see what might happen by checking the people. We definitely need to reach out to whoever we can, okay? No doubt, okay? But from what I could tell, and I could be mistaken, but it does seem to be minimal repairs. Most of them have to do with the doors and such, okay? So.
It'd be nice to have the doors closed.
I'd like to see a proposal voted on tonight.
I'd like to see us move forward with a negotiating contract with the gentleman who reached out, investigation of some marketing to see if we can maybe get some more tenants because of the Stinson repairs. But I would also really like to see an appraisal so we can make an informed decision moving forward. I'm not sure what an appraisal hurts.
I would
simply
think
information.
I'm not against the appraisal. I actually think we need to do one, but it will lift it up if you have a functioning hangar.
I will support you in the repairs if we get an appraisal with that, just so we know what it's worth.
I have no problem with that. We've known we've talked about it, we just never stepped it. But I do need Pete's number on that Vortec. He said 45,000. Was that the total?
Yes, ma'am, it's $45,884.04.
For all,
for all three.
8 and 8A?
10, 8A, and 8. Yes, ma'am.
And they're doing the same work that, let's say, straight line?
Bring that on like 78.
I think the worst one there.
Yeah, that was a lot. Okay, but it is the same work as straight line had.
Right.
Everybody.
I think the worst one that's there is hangar 8.
Yeah, it's in bad shape, but.
Okay, real quick, please. So, great comment, Josh, for sure. Definitely needs to be considered along with folks at Stinson. Okay, but please remember the agenda item is to consider the proposals in front of you. Now, obviously, everyone can consider the comments that were made, like for example, how much it would be to sell the airport, so forth. If that will influence your vote, okay, then so be it. But we can't waste our time talking about it. It's way too vague. Let's just work with the agenda item and either approve or disapprove. Okay? And then all these other things are great. But
I'd like to make the motion that we go with Vortec at the $45,884.84 to repair hangars 8, 8A, and 10.
okay, we have a motion from Debbie to award the contract to Vortec for the airport hangar repairs. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second by Stacy. Further discussion, please, if needed.
No.
Mike, you good?
Good, man.
Can we just have Vortex one sent to our emails so we have it for our
Yeah,
files?
because I didn't have that one.
Okay, and then the only question I would have, I was going to ask earlier, all right, Pete, you're confident in Vortec doing the job right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Did they say how long it would take? Not that it's going to make my motion different, I just being nosy.
No, ma'am, they didn't, but I can get with him and see how long.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
And when they could start, like,
Well, he called me, I think it was Tuesday to see how this goes, so I'm pretty sure he's ready.
awesome.
Okay, motion is second, all in favor? Motion carries 4-0. And we will proceed with the Stinson idea.
Do you want me to copy you on the email? Asking for it.
Yes, sir. I would just do that, sure. That would be another, but that would be another. I would just take it.
Okay, that was 18. Oh, we need to go back to 16. Oh, I'm so excited we're getting this back.
Okay, before we move on to another agenda item, they would like to know if it's if he has a direction of council to proceed with possible negotiations with anyone else at Stinson or the gentleman that has called us already.
I make a motion, city administrator negotiate lease of the hangar 10A with the prospect.
I would just say further, whatever.
Further, whatever.
I wouldn't be so specific. Just say.
Negotiate for a hangar or 2 or 3.
I make a motion, the city administrator have the authority to negotiate any deals with the lease of hangars.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
This is in conjunction with the work, right? We need to tie it in with the agenda item.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, so.
Yeah.
In conjunction with proposed work.
Proposed repair of hangars.
Proposed repair of hangars. Whatever you need that to say, that is the intent.
Okay, what was
That's the spirit of the law.
To have David?
To have David negotiate rental or lease of airport hangars and adjust the work on the hangars as necessary. Yes. If this guy does not want it worked on, we should not have it worked on.
Second.
Well, okay, we have a second motion. All right, all in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
I just wanted to say real quick, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
All these proposals, it didn't include that office on the top of this second story.
Oh, and 10?
Yes.
No.
No worries.
We're gonna have to,
Okay.
whoever rents it can play with it.
Okay, we will go backwards now, back to agenda item 16. Consider an act upon approving an intergovernmental agreement with Medina County to create a countywide hazard mitigation plan. Okay, David?
Yes, sir. In the process of reviewing our emergency management plan for the city of Devine, I discovered that we were not part of the Medina County emergency management plan, and I'm bringing this to the city council for us to join the Medina County emergency management plan because it allows us, after we have used all our resources, used all our resources in an emergency, we can immediately tap into the county expertise and resources, and they can assist us in whatever we may need, going all the way up to and including the state level. We have Dr. Chadwick, who is the Medina County Emergency Manager, here to speak on such.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and City Administrator. I appreciate you allowing me to be here. It's my privilege. On this specific thing, though, I think we're looking at the Hazard Mitigation Action Plan. That plan has to be reaccomplished every 5 years. It takes 2 years to update it. We just entered that 2-year window. So the county has entered into a contract with GrantWorks that is going to take on updating our Hazard Mitigation Action Plan by pulling you underneath that as well. That covers you as well on that plan, which will take us from 2025 to 2030. So it's a good deal. It's one of those things, if you don't have that plan in place and you have a major disaster, you may not qualify for federal assistance if we reach the threshold. FEMA can penalize you if you do not have a current hazard mitigation action plan.
Ew.
This pertains strictly to hazardous waste, correct? No?
Hazard mitigation, so hazards, specifically, one of our worst in this region is flooding. We're in what's called Flash Flood Alley in the state of Texas, right here in this area. But flooding, hazardous materials might be, but primarily it's the natural disasters that we look at. But you look at the floodplain inundation map for the county of Medina, we have flood areas everywhere. I'm not joking when you look at that map, it's crazy. So this will help us to have some plans in place to start mitigating some of those things. And that also, when we have that kind of plan in place, that aids us then as a county and all the jurisdictions that are part of it to go back to the federal government and ask for specific grants that are allocated for mitigation.
that kind of stuff.
So my concern here is that you folks have the point on asking for grants. So if maybe we get another Snowmageddon, we can't apply for a CARES grant that gets us generators.
Negative. No, it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so I was reading the contractor, it seems like it precludes us from requesting grants.
No, we just all work together as a big team. It brings us all together. The other option is, if you don't come under our plan, you're going to have to pay for your own. I can tell you what one costs. 70 grand. 70 grand.
We don't have.
And it's a 2-year process that you would have to do all on your own. With there's community meetings that have to be met. So citizens from your community have to be there. Citizens from your leadership have to be there. Those are requirements by the federal government, and you would have to go through that 2-year process and have your own plan.
So you already have this in place for us?
Yeah,
Once
it's a win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't remember how the wording went out from the county to the jurisdictions to look at on adopting this, but there's probably a cost share, but it's a lot less than that because we pick up the larger portion of all of that.
So we need to, by doing, I like this, that we're not, I like that we're going to do this, that we can do this with them. Do we have to amend the budget for this today?
I think it's a nominal fee. I don't know, ma'am.
And this is like 2 years out, so.
Oh, so it doesn't affect our budget today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we can plan for it, is what I'm looking at.
And that's one of the good things about if you understand the process, it takes 2 years to do one of these, then we can kind of project out getting there.
And I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I make the motion we do this intergovernmental agreement with Medina County to create a county-wide hazard mitigation plan.
Is there anybody in the audience with?
Wait a minute, Thomas is raising his hand.
The second part of that, I think in the agreement, they're asking for the city to appoint someone to be the contact person. And so that's the purpose of the resolution, in addition to the agreement.
Would that be our emergency management person or David?
Well, we've got the city administrator down there.
Oh.
I don't even know who our emergency management person is.
It's Chris.
Chris, yeah.
Do we need to put Chris on the resolution?
He's the emergency manager for the city. appointed emergency manager for the city.
That's what I'm asking, does he have to be?
Just naming the contact person, that doesn't matter to me. I mean, we can do another one and put Chris down there.
No, we could put David, because they gotta go to David anyway. That's my opinion.
Fair.
Yeah, good with them.
Okay, it's for only for 5 years, so.
So does my motion have to say and the resolution?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we approve the intergovernmental agreement and make the resolution for the city of Devine to go with Medina County to create a county-wide hazard mitigation plan. Say that backwards.
I gotta do it. I'll tell you what, it'll just be, okay, we have a motion from Debbie to enter into the intergovernmental agreement with Medina County to create the countywide hazard mitigation plan, which essentially asks for approval of resolution number 1-24D as in dog. 1-24D.
I'll second that.
We have a second by Michael. Any further discussion? And once again, remember, this is 2 years out, starting another process. We started a lot of processes tonight. Okay, all in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
I like it that we're moving forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Is there another agenda item that I need to be a part of?
Maybe the AMPO guy?
Nothing about
Water planning.
Can you help us on the
On the
Bain
emergency management plans, though, are we going to,
That's a different one.
that's a different one, so not, okay.
It's not on here tonight.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so,
okay, all right. So I just need to schedule with you to come back for that.
right, maybe, yes, I'll call you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Okay, agenda item 17, Aurora, thanks for waiting so long. Consider and act upon amending the contract between the Devine Little League and the city of Devine. Okay, hopefully we can finish this one this evening. I never did see the official, the final.
It was in the
But I believe we have, everything that council suggested was either removed or put in.
Well, there's still a couple things there that are there that
Okay. Yeah, well, that might not be the final one.
I didn't get a final one.
I didn't get a final one here, so we should have it
Tom
here.
needed to make
in
more
just a second.
edits again. To the one we
the
got.
one we just got, we have edits.
Yeah. Well, because it's not what we talked about in the meeting.
No, it's not. That I have two things on that.
Tom and his writing again.
After the last meeting, there was quite a bit of discussion on this, and what I took away from the meeting was the one thing that everybody agreed upon was that we were going to do the mowing under certain circumstances.
Correct.
So that's what this Little League contract says, Little League agreement says. Let's see, Devine Little League Association shall keep the grounds inside the fence mowed during the Little League season as required by city ordinance. This is number 8, section number 8. The city shall maintain the grounds inside and outside the fence during the Little League off-season. During the Little League season, the city shall maintain the grounds outside the fence. At all times, the city shall trim vegetation in the fence lines and maintain the curbs and gutters.
Correct.
Correct.
So what we have in here, I mean, it's a great idea. I love the idea, but council really didn't discuss it. The electrical account for the park shall be in the city's name.
That's been deleted.
Okay, but,
Yeah.
right, okay, so, because the copy I have, the last copy I've seen has that in there, which is why I was saying.
Yeah.
The copy I got, which I don't know if it's going to be the most current, but the one I got, there were two things still in it. One was number 9, that all maintenance on the building shall be at the expense of the city, and we didn't agree to that.
Well, we can scratch it. If you don't agree with it, we'll delete it.
Okay, then the other thing was the water bill. I'm still not understanding why we're changing it from Little League to city on and off season. Why does it have to change?
I think that was because it costs less money if we, that was the electric.
No, the water is the water.
I don't know.
That's
Good
not
question.
electricity. Electricity, yes, she said she wanted She was right, Aurora?
No, that's,
Oh, there you are. You were good with it changing electricity to our name and you paying us, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that one was fine.
Oh, y'all are okay with that one?
Well, I was okay with that. I don't know that we talked about it,
I mean, yeah, it's not gonna cost the city any money.
but it'll cost them less money.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's great.
And I'm okay with that now because we didn't know that until you told us the last meeting. I mean, I was against it because I didn't know you wanted that or you were
Yes,
good with
I'm
it.
okay with that.
But the water thing, I still don't understand why we want to change it on season, their name, off season, our name. I don't understand that.
Well, because if it was gonna be available for everybody's use when Little League doesn't have it.
I understand that, but
So
we don't
therefore-
water any other park in the city.
Well, nobody's saying it's gonna be watered.
Then why change the name?
Once again, because it's under our maintenance during their off-season.
So if you don't change the name, you leave the water on, there are spigots at each dugout that they can play with and turn on if they're all decide to play some kind of game and they want a water jug, there are spigots there. And if they leave it on for some reason, or a water line busts or anything during our off-season, I don't want to be responsible for that. Because I've opened it up to the public for them to use.
Oh, somebody could reach in there and just turn
So
your
someone can reach
valve
in there
on.
and turn it on. I mean, someone can probably still reach in there or jump the fence to turn it on, but right now the fences are locked. So it takes them a little bit more, people drive by, and then we're aware of what's going on.
You're still turning
My
on.
suggestion is that we should maintain that even after the season, put the water in our name, because if they're already spending money by feeding and taking care of it, making the greens green, I mean, and then when they're done, everything dies. I mean, nobody's gonna be watering it. Then they gotta start all over again. It's better to keep that grass. I mean, it's like the golf course. It goes dormant, it starts growing, then it goes dormant again. I mean, even with the heat. What is it gonna cost to water a baseball field? It ain't gonna cost much.
I don't want to find out.
I don't either. But I'm willing to give and take here, but number 9 needs to be gone. The all other maintenance and buildings shall be at the expense of the city, because we never discussed that and agreed to that. If you're good with the water being changed, the names, I'm good with it.
The water or the light?
Well, the lights, yes, we already said, but the water, if you're good with the name changed on and off season,
I'm okay with that. So another
then I'm
thing
fine
there-
with that. I just don't understand the need, but.
Another thing there, that if I open it up to the public, I don't want to be responsible for the janitorial services as well.
Well, they won't be
That's also on
open.
number 9, because then that means I still need to go at the end of the day to clean up the mess because it's a city park.
Yeah, what we need to do there is just leave them closed. I think that was council's suggestion last
Yes.
time we were,
Okay.
that way it doesn't hurt
So
you.
just leave the restrooms closed and we'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
fine with me too.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So remember, the other maintenance on the buildings and what have you, I didn't realize that was in here. I do know, I did suggest it, I was trying to get it, okay? And we talked about, well, we haven't made preparations in our budget to do anything like that. So to me, until we get the budget, I'm okay with this, okay? But once again, still being consistent, if they were to have some kind of disaster down there, it's still our property. So, that being said.
If there's some type of disaster, we can talk about it, but for a contract right-of-ways, just normal everyday living, I don't want that in there.
That's okay. That's okay. We've already gone.
Yeah, I know.
Ran around this one,
It
so
shouldn't be a big
we'll
shock.
take that out. Yeah, we'll take that out. Yeah, moving on.
Can we just put in here somewhere that they maintain the access control for those facilities? That way, it's in writing that they keep those bathrooms locked.
No, that would be us.
Because if you're taking out,
When they have it, well, you can. I'm just saying, when they have it during the season, it's theirs. When their season is over, it's ours. So it would be our responsibility to make sure everything stays
So
out.
another
Let
thing
me
that
ask-
happens is during our off-season, the garbage cans get locked too through whichever waste we use. They can also, that lock that they use, they can also get another one and put in our restrooms, and we can take ours off. So then y'all have full control of that bathroom, and it won't be open. Like, I'm okay with that too, because it's a combination lock that we have at the garbage.
That works, that way it's just a lock and it doesn't really need to be in a contract.
So when our season starts up again, we can just switch locks all over again. I'll go back to my lock and y'all can take y'all's.
Sounds good.
That works.
Good. Yeah, I think it's great. You know, like I said, other than capital expense that they may incur, heaven forbid, you know, so right now they're in limbo in a bathroom because there isn't one. And there's a leak underground or in the walls or somewhere, they don't know where it's coming
I
from.
thought we had Pete go look at that.
Well, we can, but according to the contract, it's not our job to go do it.
We can still approve things because it remains our property, as you pointed out.
Thank you very much. Touche.
I didn't know if Pete looked at it. I was wondering if Pete looked at it.
I thought we asked him to. I really did. I thought we had asked him to go look at it.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't think so, yeah.
Because there was two leaks, right? I think there was two.
No, it's just one in the bathrooms that are already open. The
Okay.
bathrooms that are closed, those work and those are perfectly fine. But it's just one urinal, one men's restroom, two women's restroom, and that's it. And then the other one are two single restrooms along with our storage.
Make a motion, we accept the contract as written.
I'll second it with the stipulation that that sentence be stricken.
On 9.
On 9.
What was number 9 again?
Number 9.
All other maintenance on the building shall be at the expense of the city.
All other maintenance on the building shall be at the expense of the city. That's what Devin wants stricken, that last sentence.
Oh, I can understand the maintenance on the building, but I was thinking of the green, I mean, the diamond and everything else, you know? Why not water it?
This is a baseball field, not a golf course, right?
We're leaving it with the water changing over. We're leaving it with
But
the
what's
lights.
the problem with watering the baseball field? Do you have why do you have an issue with the baseball field?
I'm
If
just saying
somebody-
that
if somebody
we don't
Okay, let me-
water any other park. That was my statement.
That's a baseball field, it's not a park.
Okay, Michael, I don't want to argue with you over that. That was my statement.
Hey, okay, we're not going to go in that direction, okay? Please speak, please speak, please speak. We're not going to have this crosshash, okay? Now, moving on, okay? We spent a lot of time on the contract.
That's fine.
Okay? If Public Works thinks it needs to be watered, they can water it. It's pretty open, okay? So if it needs it, it needs it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So right now, okay, so the electric will be in the city's name, correct? Everybody okay with that? Oh, my bad. Okay, yeah, what can I say? Okay, right now, the electric will be added. Okay, that's a revision. And then I think everything else. And then, of course, we've already added the maintenance outside the season. Okay, and then also it's open to the general public when it is not under the auspices of the Little League. Okay, so everything in this written contract that we have will be in place other than what will be deleted will be all other maintenance on the buildings shall be at the expense of the city. Okay, and I gather here that the council would be open to have something happen, but it just won't be in the contract. Fair enough. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right.
Do I have a date on when I can go sign and pay and submit my insurance?
Effective now.
Well, let's get it approved. Let's get it approved. And then, yeah.
Okay.
Let's get it approved.
We'll have it today tomorrow.
Okay, I'll entertain the motion.
Yes, so by Monday.
You already did.
There's a motion and a second. That was my amendment to my motion.
Yeah, it's been a while. We got in this. Okay, so, all right.
I seconded it.
Okay, Josh made the motion to approve the contract with the revision. Debbie seconded it. Anything further? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Aurora.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Aurora. Wow. Dang.
There's a lot of reverb tonight.
Yeah.
This is a big meeting. This is, we got a lot going on, guys. So, and that's okay. All right. So we already did 18. We move on to agenda item number 19. Consider and act upon approving a support letter for Medina County's inclusion in the Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Organization. I believe we have a big packet there with regards to that.
Yes, sir, the Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Area organization. Medina County has already joined that organization, and basically, instead of being a rural metropolitan area, now could be part of the Alamo area, which is the extension of the boundaries of San Antonio, which basically, since we have county roads, state roads coming through our city, it opens up the city to have the capability to apply and to be granted to have billions, whether it be access to billions of dollars in pots of money throughout the county, throughout the state, that can help us fix our roads. So the county has already signed on, and they've asked each city to just do a letter of support stating that. So the county, January the 8th, approved the resolution to become a member of the MPO.
No amending the budget?
No, ma'am, don't cause, no, ma'am, no amending the budget. No.
This should open up a lot of opportunities for.
No,
for us.
I totally see that. I was just like, how much is it going to cost?
So my concern with this, every dollar comes with a string attached. Doing a little bit more digging on this stuff, it reads a lot of that Green New Deal sort of thing of, yeah, you're going to have increased emission standards, there's going to be requirements for electric vehicles, there's going to be the potential for mileage restrictions or taxes based on miles driven. I'm really concerned about the long-term implications of signing on to an organization like this and our ability to withdraw, and then the impact as far as cost of living for our citizens because of these weird climate agendas that appear to be in this, but I really can't tell heads or tails out of it.
Would we, I hear what you're saying perfectly. Say there's some type of grant money available that we could tap into for roads. Let's use that one. We wouldn't have to ask for it if there was a string such as what you're talking about. We wouldn't have to take it.
I guess as the root of my question here, what are we committing to in a letter of support? It doesn't sound like much. We just need to read the fine print of any grant we would apply for, but it seems like a whole lot of unknown to me, so I'm cautious.
It's just that Medina County wants to be included, and we're going to say, yeah, we'll support the county to be included, correct?
David,
Correct, yes.
Answer that, David?
Yes, sir. Once again, it opens up the county to access to billions of dollars in federal funding to be able to fix the roads, bridges, infrastructure, and so forth of the city.
That's something we pay for
So,
anyway,
Debbie,
because that's county.
he's speaking.
right now, Medina County is part of the Rural Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is a smaller organization, which has a smaller pot of money, which is basically not enough money to fix the roads, bridges, and infrastructure of the entire county. With us becoming a member of this organization, it opens us up for access to more pots of money, access to more grants and so forth that comes back to the community, sidewalks, streets, et cetera, So that's why we all met, the Judge Lutz, and all the city managers and some of the mayors from Castroville and Lido and Devine and Hondo and Lacoste, and all of us met about 2 months ago with the representative from the AAMPO from San Antonio, and he explained the process to apply with the application process, and then we accepted or not into the AAMPO by the board in San Antonio, and then it once again gives us access to additional monies for our community.
Can I speak now?
Sure.
So I see Josh's concern, but what this is really doing is opening money for the county to obtain. So the county has to worry about the strings, not us. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Just call me cautiously concerned.
It's county roads, county infrastructure, not city. So it really wouldn't be us doing it. It would be county doing it.
Correct, but due to the fact that we have county roads going through the middle of our city, then we don't get the direct benefactor of those funds.
So they get to deal with the strings.
So we're just making a
We
decision.
still live in this county.
Basically,
It's just a show of support.
show of support.
And then, also, David, if I'm not mistaken, so this isn't like a interlocal agreement where we try to have them help us in the city. We're talking about like 173, 132.
Correct.
Sidewalks, things of that nature
Yeah,
that
that
are
they
on
would be doing.
county and state highways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, I'll make the motion to approve a support letter for Medina County's inclusion in the Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Organization.
all right, we have a motion from Debbie to approve a support letter for inclusion in the Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Organization.
I second that.
Second by Michael. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Motion carries 3-1. All approved. Josh disapproved. Okay, agenda item number 20. Consider and act upon awarding Tatum Floors and Construction LLC the bid for the Bain Well repair.
Thank you, Jesus.
This is the much anticipated Bain Well repair bid tabulation, and Mr. Garcia is going to present that information.
We're on.
For the Bain Well plant improvements, we have 3 bidders, and the bid opening was on December 14th. The low bidder was Tatum Floors and Construction LLC out of Gatesville, Texas. The low bid came in at $140,500, and their references were checked, and they came out good. And so we had in front of me a letter of recommendation to hire Tatum Floors and Construction LLC in the amount of $140,500.
When do they get to start if we approve it?
We have to have a pre-construction conference, and then we'll give them the notice to proceed.
And then we have a well again.
Make a motion we accept per the guidance of our engineer and city administrator.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the proposal from Tatum Floors Construction for the Bain Well repair. We have a second. Motion was by Josh, a second by Debbie. I have a quick question. Have you worked with Tatum Floors Construction before?
No, I haven't. That's why I called their references and thoroughly checked them out.
Okay, and you are familiar with the references that you checked out?
No, I just go down the list of references and I give them calls and talk to them. And there was one out of maybe 5 that had some questions about them having staffing issues, but they said they did a good job though. But everybody else said that they did great work with pumps and wells and well houses and things like that. So that seems to be one of their strengths. And so I feel comfortable with this.
Okay, so you don't have any reservations?
No.
Okay, David?
Yes, the fact that we had one vendor come back with some concerns, we called the company and asked for 2 additional references. So, and they initially gave 3, and then we went back and asked them to give 2 additional, and that's how we made the decision to go ahead and continue with them.
Okay, all right. And then one other question, because obviously I'm ignorant of this because I'm not a water engineer and so forth, wells and all that, but sometimes when you get bids, sometimes there appears to be line items that might be just way below board. And I see some pretty good discrepancy here on some of these compared to the other bids. Is that any concern?
No, it's not.
Okay. For example, on the demo of the existing concrete pad and shed, you know, there was a big difference there. And there's a couple others, but if you don't have a concern, then I trust your opinion. Yes, ma'am.
This is a question for JR. Isn't this 140 and change, isn't that, it's pretty close to what you had come up with when you originally went through this, right?
Yes, our estimate was at $150,000.
Okay, I thought it was in the ballpark. That's why I was like, wow, you did good, JR.
So we came in right at where we were thinking it would be, just a little bit under.
Okay, good for me. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Thanks again. Agenda item 21. consider and act upon updates on the survey that was done for the Devine ISD property that the city will be purchasing. What do we have here?
I don't know if it made your packet or not, but the road survey, they completed the survey, the field notes. And now the next step will be, the mayor has been really involved in negotiations with the schools. The next step will be for the mayor to get in touch with the superintendent and discuss. What I think is going to happen is they're going to get their attorney to draw up a deed that will contain the conditions that they agreed to sell the property to us on. So once we get that, we can take a look at it. I think that everything's going to go through quickly now.
So we just need the actual paperwork to you now?
They need to get the actual paperwork to us. Now that we've got it surveyed, they went out and they surveyed the property. It took them a while to find all the easements that are out there, because they had to go back quite a ways. There is the one dirt road that leads to the facility that we use and the neighbor uses. What's her name? Peggy Lester. We both use that dirt road going to the facilities and to her house.
Yeah.
That's not a dedicated easement. Our easement runs along the property line, not across the property. So in the future, we might want to talk to the school about that. I mean, we'll be dissecting a big piece of their land if they give us an easement. But we're using it now, but otherwise we have to come from either Windy Knoll or down, I can't remember the name of that street there that goes by the daycare. Littleton. Yeah.
So what's our next step to?
The next step is for the mayor to get in touch with the superintendent. I think we've sent the survey and everything to JR, so we just need to let the school know now. Then they will prepare a deed. Their lawyer will prepare a deed. And see, when they agreed to sell the property to us, Debbie, they put certain conditions on that. That we would always use the property for public purposes.
Right.
And, okay.
So they need to do that?
Yes, they need to.
Yeah, it's in their court.
Yeah.
Todd and I
But you
discussed
need
this
to go
other
to
day.
them and say,
Well,
council needs to tell you to go do that and say, do that now, please.
not really, I don't think. I think it's just in their court, is it not?
I mean, if you want to, you can authorize the mayor to do it, but if you've already authorized.
It's already,
Remember when we first started talking about this, Debbie?
Yes, I do. That's why I'm sitting here going, I don't understand what we have to do.
This is mainly
Just update on the status of.
Okay, I thought we were going to have to say, gee, Mr. Mayor, now go call Mr.
Todd and I talked briefly last week about this, and they're got everything in the works on their end. Yeah.
So we're almost there.
With one process is hopefully almost done.
So we're almost there.
Yes.
Once we get the deed, is that when we write the check?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
All right.
We're closing to a title company.
Okay.
We're going to get a title policy on this. If you remember,
Yes.
we have to pay all the costs associated with the purchase.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Okay.
and then you can spend $2 million on your ground storage plant.
Thank you.
2.35 million.
That's right.
Okay. Any other thing to discuss on that from you guys? All right. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 22. Consider and act upon accepting the 2023 racial profiling report.
Chief Benavides? Yeah. It's the racial profiling report for the police department.
I think we have it, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the 581.
Okay, so once again, the department decided to do full disclosure. Some departments don't have that requirement, but we've specifically maintained that whatever we get is what we give to the state. Everything is done according to our computer program. For 2023, we pulled over 581 vehicles as far as citation specific, and that's what we reported to the state.
Make a motion, we accept the report.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a motion from Josh to accept the racial profiling report. We have a second by Debbie. Any further discussion?
Great job, guys. This is an every year thing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought so.
Yeah.
All right. You have anything else?
Not on this, no, sir.
Okay. All in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, agenda item 23, we have executive session on here. We don't need executive session or anything, do we?
Yes, we do.
We do, my bad.
Please.
Oh, okay, I got it. Okay, at this time, we will go into executive session pursuant to provision of the open meeting law, Texas Government Code 551.076. Deliberate the deployment of peace officers and security personnel. Time is 8:36. Okay. Do we need to mention this?
So it's just informational.
Okay.
Informational.
Okay, go ahead, Debbie. You got your hand up. Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to do that.
Is your mic on?
Yeah. Yeah, I've allowed it anyway. Okay, just two things. Number one, how's our local local agreement with the county streets? For the streets, like is it written? Like is it almost written?
No, we have to get to that first. Right now, we're worried about the other, but we have to decide which streets we want. We have to give them the scope of the work.
I thought we had to have the local in agreement before we can decide streets.
I don't think so. I think we can just nominate streets for the interlocal agreement. For example, Burnboo, we had to decide what we wanted to do first.
Then
It
it's
doesn't
going to
matter
be
either
totally
way.
different than in the past. If you're saying we have to put the streets on the agreement. Because they did other streets that we never even said to do before. Like we said, do these 10, and they did those 7.
The
So
county
that
did?
didn't match up. So I guess we're doing it different then?
I don't know if it's different. I would think that he would need to know the scope, how many streets, what the approximate cost will be, so we can barter with the exchange.
Okay, so
I mean, I could call Danny tomorrow, ask him, let you know.
I guess the thing is that the last time I read something from Danny, he had how much his supplies of the last job he did.
Right.
How much they were. And when I figured it out it was something per mile.
Right.
And I
Still
figured
is.
out that we would do almost 5 miles if the supplies were the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we could pick out 5 miles of streets.
Right.
So, and that's kind of why I asked this to be on the agenda, was that we start putting in our names of the streets that we think need done in our districts. So then the whole council then can talk it over of, well, yeah, your street is way more important than my street. You know, like start figuring it out.
Right.
But now you're saying we have to do all of that before we can even get an interlocal agreement?
Well, I'm not saying anything. Okay, all I'm saying is that the way I understand it is we might be able to just make him an offer on what we're going to barter with, okay? And it might be good enough. We talked about the Burnboo project, and then we discussed the street project. He said, well, just let me know what you want to do. So that's kind of where it's at. It's fairly informal on that. The Burnboo is signed and delivered, 2 contracts.
No, I got that.
Yeah.
But
So
the street, because I've been through this and, well, Flipper has been too in the past, it takes 2 to 3 months to get the streets selection done. Mainly because then they have to go get linear square feet, blah, 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 you know, all of that.
I would hope it's not going to take 2 to 3 months now, because then we're not moving fast enough. So, but yes, I think we should start the process on what streets, what our priorities are, for sure.
I'm saying this because Danny's gonna need to make his schedule for the summer, for the spring and the summer. And
That's
I want
correct.
us to be on that schedule. And
That's
if we
correct.
don't have something for him, then we won't get on it.
Well, what Danny and I discussed was, number one, the equipment that's going to be used. Okay, now here's another reason why it seems to me we have to tell them what we want done first. Okay, because the equipment that he's going to be using, it's not just for his precinct. It's used by all the precincts in the county, and everybody has their projects going. Okay, so he wants to get something in place as soon as possible so he can reserve the equipment. It's going to be the same way with Burntwood Creek. Okay, so that's what we discussed, was it not, David?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so it's not, it shouldn't be of serious concern. He's going to be working with us, whatever we want to do. But yes, we need to kind of let him know how many linear feet, how many miles of streets we want to do. We need to give him a scope.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
can I ask that David or you, I don't care, somebody call to find out what supplies would be?
Well, we've gotten the prices. He gave a price of materials. He gave a price for linear miles, so to speak. We have all that, and it was in a packet a while back.
Okay, so
some time ago.
I just wanted to make sure, because if it changes, if it
Which it
changes
might.
how many,
It just might.
you know,
Yeah.
streets we can get done.
So the consensus between Danny and David and me is that as soon as the weather cooperates, because we couldn't start Burntwood last week like we had scheduled, we're hoping to, because of the rain. We have a section of Burntwood that's just way too wet for him to get his big equipment in.
No, I get that.
Right, so, once again, Burntwood right now is a focus with an eye to this.
I
Of
get
course,
it,
all
but
at the
I'm
same
trying
time.
to get our future for spring and summer.
Well, we
set.
share your concern, trust me. So,
Okay, then I'll just make another request for us to talk about it at the February meeting. Okay, so that answers the question then. I want to say a month, it could have been 2. We talked about a pump needing replacement at the golf course, or fixing or
Correct.
something. What is there an update on that?
there you go.
It's been repaired. It's been completely, a new pump has been replaced with a new pump.
Okay.
And the new pump is in place and operational.
And how much did that cost the city?
What was approved?
Yeah, it was under the 45,000 that was approved. It was, what, how much was it, 22? 22,000 and some change. I can get you the exact number, but it was
22,000 was the city's?
The total was the total.
So 11 was the city's?
Right, it's gonna be split 50-50, yes.
Okay.
And I believe the local vendor ended up being the lowest price,
Correct.
correct? Yeah.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to know because we didn't hear anything after they said it needed it.
It just got done.
Okay, what I'm saying is that we didn't hear what was the decision. I guess that's really what I was asking is, what happened? Well, now you told me we got a new pump. It cost us $11,000. Okay, that was the question.
And there, yeah,
Okay, that's all I had for informational. Thank you.
gotcha.
I have something. I was contacted by several residents of District 3 who have been, there's a certain portion of District 3 that has been without internet since last Wednesday. And that I've tried to get, I spoke to David about it, and, you know, it's with AT&T, they know what's going on, and they just have said over and over and over again that they will send somebody out to fix it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's basically it. I just, one of them wanted me to just bring it up that they know that there's very limited stuff that the council can do for that, but one resident in particular has health issues and he needed the internet to communicate with some medical professionals. And I mean, just we all know how important internet is.
Right, okay. Yes, I remember you contacted me and AT&T did say it's supposed to be repaired by the 16th, so obviously we're at the 18th.
As
So-
of 6 o'clock this evening, they still did not have internet.
Okay, maybe I can you give me that person's name and maybe I can connect them with some resources as far as the medical portion of it, where they can help them out until we get AT&T back online, and then we'll contact AT&T and find out what the status
I did try contacting them
Yeah.
myself, but they wouldn't talk to me because I'm not an AT&T customer. No.
Okay, all right.
Which is what I was expecting, but I wanted to try. So.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff too posted in this and that where obviously it's not the city's fault, the city didn't do anything and we're not in control of it. And however, if there's any way at all we could put some heat on AT&T to get this moving, we would definitely try and do so. Yeah. So, okay. Anything else informational that we care to share?
I just want to say that I just want to thank everybody once again for the hard work over the weekend during the winter storm or the winter freeze. The city has launched, or actually has an active Facebook page now. Social media. So if you could get the word out, have people to share it, and let everyone know that we have an active Facebook page and we're trying to put information out there. Actually, we posted about the AT&T line being out on the Facebook page. So that's just want to put that out there, that we are active on social media and we'll continue to be active and get the word out as much as possible. So thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Did you want to say something?
Ask them, please mention the Facebook page.
Can't hear you. Please come to the podium. Thanks. Sorry.
No, it's okay. The Facebook page for that.
Yes, ma'am. The City of Devine City Hall. It's called City of Devine City Hall. And if you go out on the actual website, there's a Facebook icon where you can click on it and go to Facebook for the updates, because it's easier for us staff members to update Facebook versus the city website.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then the emergency, what is that called again, David?
iInfo?
Yeah, the iInfo is also set up for folks who want to subscribe to it. If you could pass that on to everybody that you know, and that way when we had the fire and the electrical blackout and everything with the, what was it, a raccoon? Okay. That way everybody in town could have been alerted at 3 in the morning that a raccoon took down part of our grid.
Well, better it be a raccoon this time than a squirrel that took down the golf course. District 5, almost all of District 5 went down.
Yeah, squirrel, raccoon, still sound like a rodent to me. So, all right, anyway, anything else, folks?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have investment reports.
I think there was one other thing on there. I think informational should always be last.
What are we doing?
The investment
report. Oh. We read that.
The water.
Just review, that's the review for the audit.
Well, speaking of which, the auditors are in town, in case y'all didn't know. They're at City Hall and they're going through our financials and should be here through the weekend, or through the week, end of the week. So
It's always fun.
Oh man, I walked in there, the CIA was in there.
Do we know when they might be able to present?
We're in rage.
How long does it take them to get all that together, David, to present it back to council? Do you know offhand, did they say?
what's that?
The auditors.
Isn't it like April?
February meeting.
Oh, the February meeting will have the report from the auditors. Okay.
Oh, it was last year, I think it was April.
Yeah, it was late.
What,
Do we need to do anything with the investment report?
Just review. This is for your perusal.
Okay, Josh.
I make a motion, I take back.
Say it again.
You make a motion.
Okay.
No, I don't do those motions.
All right, let's make it official. We now move to agenda item 27, adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
There you go, Stacy.
Motion by Stacy to adjourn.
I'll second it then, Stacy.
Thank you.
Second by Debbie, all in favor? Opposed? You don't want to go home, Mike?
no, I want to stay here till 10. We're nobody here till 10 on regular days.
Hey, you did okay. 9:13, there's a lot to cover. We started a lot of processes tonight. Anyway, y'all have a great week. We'll be back next week, remember?
Yeah,